Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Chris Hake here with Just Simple Storage Mastery. And today we are going to jump into Whiteboard Wednesday. And what is that? Well, it's when I get to run some crazy formulas and math problems and talk to you about why you should consider it. And today we're going to talk about ROE, return on equity. What is return on equity? As simple as taking your net cash flow on a rental property. In this case, I'm talking self-storage, but it could be an apartment, could be a duplex. Divide it by the equity in the property. Now, the equity in the property could be as simple as the money you put up for down payment and or the growth of the property. So when we take a look at this graph here, we've got value of a property, right? The day we come in, and how do we increase that value? Well, there's a couple ways. We've got appreciation, which is the kind of the natural growth over time. We've got cash flow, so you're raising your rents or any other ancillary income you might have, and that's increasing the value, right? Because your NOI, as your income grows, your NOI gets larger, which your NOI ultimately is your money tree, net operating income. So we want to continue to grow that. And then we've got your debt, the other side, which as we're paying down the debt over time, our mortgage, assuming that you have a mortgage, which most people do, but if you have a mortgage, paying the debt down, principal and interest payments, the debt's slowly going down, and that is going the opposite way. So we've got that spread and it's opening up a wider margin for right here, our equity. So as we're doing all those things in the course of business, every day, week, month, and year, that equity is growing. And so I was asked probably 3-4 days ago, we were at an event last weekend, and I talked to them about possibly selling a couple of our storage facilities. And they said, Chris, why would you want to sell your storage facilities? And I knew the answer. I mean, we got into self-storage, myself and my partner Jason, we got in because we wanted cash flow, right? Rental properties, we want cash flow. But as a natural part of that, you are increasing your equity as you go along the journey. And so what we really hadn't run, and I didn't know the specific number, was the equity and the value of that, right? Because the value of that equity can be very significant. And if you've never run this equation for your rental properties, you should really do it. So if you take a real simple equation here, math problem, let's say you've got a rental property, it's generating $10,000 a year in net cash flow. And you've got $100,000 of equity in that property. It could be partially from money you put down, it could be from growth in the property. Let's just say there's $100,000 of equity. You divide those and you come up with a 10% return on that money. Okay, 10%, is that good or bad? Depends who you are. But when I ran the formula on a couple properties that we're looking at selling, we're looking at selling 2 of them. We've received a pretty good offer. And what that offer did is it told us what our equity is in those 2 properties. So this formula is what I started running when we were looking at selling. $65,000 of net cash flow on those properties in a year divided by the equity. So that is the equity we would be able to take and carry forward into whether we sold it, we could take the money or do a 1031 exchange, which is what we're thinking about doing. And so that, when I looked at that, it's only 4.8%. That's not really good. A bank CD is getting more than that. And so what Jason and I are good at and what we have been able to really create great value is that we are turning around these businesses, which self-storage is, the mom and pop companies that we're buying, their facilities, we are turning them around in a pretty short period of time, anywhere from 9 to 12 to 18 months. And we are generating this amount of equity because we're raising the rents, we're stabilizing the properties. And that growth now, we can't do anything with that right now. Yeah, it's great, we're getting cash flow, but I want to use that bigger number because I know what we can do better. And so as you guys are looking at your properties, if you have anything, you need to know what that number is. And you've got a choice, right? To get to that, I can either sell my property or refinance, and I can pull some of that out to move it forward. And people would argue both ways, one's better than the other. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are and whatever you think is best for you, make sure you talk to your CPA, your team, your attorney, or other investors. But for us, we're looking at it knowing what we can do. I'm confident I can leverage that money in the course of 12 to 18 months, and I can at least double it through use of a 1031 exchange. So this whole math problem is nothing more than to get you thinking. Return on equity, super huge if you understand it and know how to apply it to your business. And everyone's business is different. The important thing is that you know how to do it, you know how to calculate it, and then what you decide to do with it is up to you. If you ever have any questions about any of this stuff with self-storage, get a hold of Jason and I anytime. Reach out to us. If you're ever looking at wanting to get into self-storage, absolutely give us a call. We're helping people throughout the Midwest as well as the state of Wisconsin getting on their journey to get their first self-storage property. So if that's you, you need to reach out with the link on the bottom here. We'll get you plugged into us. I look forward to talking to you. Have a great day.